Hello and welcome to Edge of Empire, and this is episode 7 of year 8 of our show. And tonight we're going to continue with the punk rock phase, and we're going to take a look at this month's new releases, talk about what we've been up to, look at the State of the Union, and take a gander at the new Solar Auxilia units released with the Battle for Beta Garmin. So I guess I better introduce my co-hosts, because they get very grumpy if they don't get introduced. Apparently, they also are part of the show. So we've got Chris Mills.
We're the talent.
We're just
the
talent.
talent.
We're just the talent.
You have actually been referred to as the talent before.
The talent.
So yes,
so
the
just want to put that there.
Yeah.
And I thoroughly endorse our anarchy in the heresy approach to the introduction going forward.
I don't, not even.
Weirdly enough, which is just goes to show you can't give people what they want. In talking to some people, they're like, "Oh, I kind of quite like those logins."
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. We'll
Graham, as I've said before, when you listen to people, that's how you end up with Brexit. That's what happens.
That is true. But anyway, for now,
okay. And
unless there was
we've got Chris and Graham.
groundswell
That's the introduction.
Public opinion, the kind of thing that I expect to see on change.org, we are going for the no nonsense intro from here on in, like a proper podcast. So yes, I am Graham,
Like
and that is Chris.
Proper podcast. That is Chris. Like with the two Ronnies. I mean,
okay.
It's been a while since we've done this. It's been probably a couple of months now.
Yeah, you went on holiday.
Graham got deported, and we hid his passport. So he's been in a French internment camp for the last 6 weeks.
Is actually what they should be off to Algeria.
And until your passport came through to get you back into the UK.
I had to fight on the side of the Foreign Legion in order to.
I mean, Dave are very sorry for throwing a passport into that off the boat as it came into Portsmouth. Yeah, but
cheers.
Sometimes you just it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Good times. Well, our trip to Normandy was excellent. So I really enjoyed that. Would have made a great podcast. But anyway,
and we're all still talking.
And I went off to Worldcon and accidentally groped Mike Brooks.
Not for the first time.
Is that what they said on the press report? Or was that just...
No,
what your lawyers told you to say?
We were waiting in queue, and I was looking at my...
Who is Mike Brooks?
He's a Black Library author.
He has done an interview for the show.
I don't think he has he? But he's a good guy.
I'm sure he did.
Massive
1,000 years ago.
Massive mohawk, really cool guy. And I was looking at my phone. We were both in the queue for the a panel on governments in Wi-Fi in sci-fi, and he I accidentally walked forward when I shouldn't have.
I was looking at my phone.
We've
all used that excuse, Mr. B. We've all used that excuse. None of us have used that excuse.
And there was definitely a bit of groping there, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, absolute piece of work.
Well, unreserved apology to Mr. Mike Brooks for being assaulted by one of our co-hosts. We shall add another black mark to his name, of which there are many.
I mean, there's only so many letters I can read where it's Dear Edge of Empire podcast. I'd like to write to you about the experience I received at the sticky hands.
Oh, tentacles.
There's a reason they call him the octopus.
The octopus, the tentacles all over the place.
That's it.
Yes, indeed. There's only so many, cease and desist orders or, zoning orders that prevent Mr. B from being within 300 meters of a celebrity.
Any Black Library author.
In fact, he's going through the whole list. Watch out. Cool. Anyway, come on. We've already strayed into our material.
Fair enough. Right. Let's move on to the new releases.
Go on then. What do we got?
Well, we've got a...
Is Chris introducing?
Oh, I'm introducing new releases. Oh, hello. This is new. This feels weird.
Doesn't it?
Oh, hang on.
You've introduced new releases before.
I don't know what you're talking about. Who are you? We haven't met. What am I doing here again? So new releases. Let's find out what all the new and exciting heresy adjacent things Mr. B has compiled into a list And
try and
for me and Graham to go,
into.
Is it?
Really?
Is it really?
Yeah.
But I'm kind of having a quick look down this list, Mr. B, and it's not too bad. It's not
bad, is it?
It's got a bit squiffy in the formatting, but anyway, we've got first off the Shield Captain. I think he's not everyone's favourite.
He looks terrible.
Yeah, I mean, conversion possibilities there.
Just a truck. I mean, it looks like a transformer. I mean, it's just not right. It's not right.
Here's the thing. There was, although may still be, a line that Forger did for the Minotaurs Legion.
Yes.
Yeah,
I can see that.
And I would think that guy is striking the same pose as that guy was.
Those models were excellent, though, weren't they? The Minotaurs ones.
Well, there's the HQ guy, 2 HQ guys, and they did a Dreadnought as well. And he looks. I can't remember what his name was now. It's going to really bug me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. I know the model you mean. Yeah.
Do you know? I would be less irked about it if it wasn't for the big plumy thing on the back of his head. It just, for those of you watching in black and white at home, he's got like I don't know what to describe it as really, a big plume, I guess, coming out of his backpack that kind of curls around on the top of his head, and it's just, I think if you snip that off, it probably wouldn't look too terrible, but it just draws the model away from where it needs to be, I think.
Here's the problem. Ladies and gentlemen. That is a man wielding a shield.
It is. Yep.
That's a man holding a spear.
That totally is.
I don't know, because I need to double check this actually.
I don't believe it is a legal loadout.
I don't think it is.
As it is, so you'd need to do some conversion work to make him.
Absolutely.
Is it a 40k model primarily?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair play.
So
but anyway,
you've got something there, maybe the basis for a conversion.
Yeah, I mean, it's also weird that the gun element of the spear is on the underside, whereas all the other spears have had them at the top.
Yeah,
which is a weird thing. The Phoenician plume thing can get in the bin.
Get in the bin, yeah, totally.
I don't hate the shoulder-mounted cloak. I think that's pretty good.
No, that's okay. I quite like
I buy it? Probably, because I have a fascination with buying models for this army, and they are effectively my Pokemon. So
okay, fair play.
Yep.
Very good. Okay. What's next out of the bag, Mr. B?
Legion Command upgrade set, £18.50. It's basically a sprue of upgrades you can use to make an existing Mark 6 or Mark 3 squad into a command squad. You get in there 2 banners, some toppers for the banners, 5 shields, bunch of heads, swords, all sorts of stuff, arms.
Nice, combat shields, they would work, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Asterian Moloch, that was the Minotaur's guy, sorry.
Right, yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, there's quite a lot in there. I think it looks all right. Yeah,
you're not impressed, Mr. B. You don't sound.
No, I think it's really good. I think it's a really good set. Even if you don't want to use it as a command squad set, you've got a lot of stuff in there you can use for other stuff. You can build a herald.
Heralds are always, I mean, one of the most useful, as we talked about, one of the most useful console types you can get your hands on. And
you've got lots of bits in there for lots of stuff.
Get your greasy little tentacles on.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, I mean, there's 2 banners there, so you can have one in Artificer armor and one in some sort of Terminator armor, and Bob's your mother's brother. So yeah, cool. Yeah. What about the
swords
helmets?
Cool,
so helmets are really nice. I think.
Wait a moment.
I like them.
We know what we're going to be doing, Mr. B. Let's zoom in.
Let's see.
Let's see what
fella right at the end is having a good time.
Happy cuddle face time.
Yeah, he is very much in the zone.
Yeah, they are living their best
Something
lives.
Else. They aren't. You're right. They're not terrible helmets. Actually, I quite like them. They do look commandy. Definitely worth a buy, I think.
Yeah, and you can get that for £18.50, or if you pay £31.50, you can get a sprue of Mark 3 or Mark 6 with it to actually build a full command squad. So
that's not too bad, is it?
Not bad. So you can either buy a sprue on its own or buy them with the gear guys.
£11 for the
5 guys.
5 guys.
Yeah.
So
right.
I mean, that's cheaper than actually buying a bike.
I was going to say it's actually cheaper than the burger.
So yeah. Next up, and I don't know what's gone on here, but it's displayed them in a weird order. So I'm just going to go with it. We've got the Echoes of Eternity paperback.
They pinched that name from our event 3 years ago. That's exactly what we called it.
And the rest.
And that's just
all the links seem to be Is it just me, or do the links?
Well, the links have all defaulted to the Mark III.
Yeah, it's gone a bit off.
Okay,
I don't know what's happened there. I'm going to have to reformat this at some point.
Well,
we'll figure it out.
Anyway,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
okay,
there's a map.
Yes, you got the Sanctum Imperialis map, £40. Have you gone for that one, Chris? Or
I have not.
Nope.
I haven't bought a map
but it's still in stock.
Let's have a look. Let's have a cheeky little. I think there was one or two where you couldn't actually get them because they were in
one of those books.
In
books, and they were just it's like, okay, well, I'll just go F myself at this point. Thank you very much. I still have 2 of each of the original 3, though, I think. So if anyone wants maps, I'm hoarding them.
You do like a map? I mean, you even got a lovely map of Normandy, which I then went and bought one because I was so impressed with it.
It's a lovely map of Normandy.
Yeah.
I do quite like that map. It's quite pretty.
Yes.
Yeah. We have the Hive data stack cluster, £31.50. Bit of terrain there for you to use.
Oh, Mr. B's back in his element.
In the wheelhouse.
I really think this is definitely worthy of your Zone Mortalis, probably even your normal stuff. Yeah, we're gonna have to look them up in the store because it's messed up.
Data stack cluster. Right, here we go.
We'll put a link in there. 2 of these.
Do you know, when actually talking about all things terrain, somebody asked me about the manatees. I was people maybe who haven't been listening for a long time may not understand the relevance of the manatee. But anyway, Hive stack cluster definitely sounds like it's named by manatees, frankly.
Yep.
I've updated the link. So.
Okay,
brilliant.
I'm not overly impressed with them. I mean, I guess you're right. Put them in the middle of a Zone Mortalis thing, I guess.
Yep. It's kind of looks. I mean, to me, it looks like sort of a bit of an objective thing.
It looks like some early 2000s Doctor Who development work for the inside of the TARDIS.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll give you that.
If you put a panel around the top of that middle bit, that is David Tennant's TARDIS.
No, I see that. The next bit is actually one of my favourites. It's the Ruined Zone. Oh, that is £40. Sorry, £31.50 for those. My next bit is my favourite. Is of this month's releases, £52.50 for Ruined Zone Mortalis. You get a nice bunch of ruined stuff to add to your Zone Mortalis board, and I think this looks really nice.
Okay.
I like the broken doors. I'm not too fussed about the rest of it, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah. Just adds a bit of character to what
I quite like the spooling cable out of the wall hole. That'd be quite a bit of fun, I suppose.
Yeah, that's quite good. But Celebi.
It's for £52.50.
It's terrain.
I'm not sure I'd spend that on that. But...
Yep. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one.
Next up, we've got Graham. Have you bought 2 or one of these?
2 of these.
2 of these. The Mechanicum Battle Group.
In a fit of FOMO.
29 miniatures. You get 20 tech thralls, 6 Phalanx, a Trios converter, and 2 Castellex. And I think this is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, that's why I bought it.
This is all plastic now, isn't it?
Yeah, all plastic. £130. And I am,
which is basically the cost of the Trios converter. Back in the day.
It's still available, and I'm like, do I want to buy one of these? I
bought mine from our new friendly local gaming store. That different, not less. They gave a good discount. But
they're up in Biker in Newcastle, aren't they?
They are indeed. I want to do Dark Mechanicum Army. I kind of to go with my continued descent into corruption with all things
Descent.
Yes. Well, minor step a little step down into corruption. So this is ideal, right? There's the Phalanx, pretty good troop choice. Not a very good troop choice. You've got the what are they called again? Come on, Graham. Castellax, again, good troop choice if you're taking a Cybernetica HQ, because they become line and compulsory, I think. So yeah, and of course the Trias Convert is is really good transport, and you've got those guys, 20 guys of cannon fodder. It's going to be a lot to paint, but I think it's going to be quite cool to do. So looking forward to that.
Yep, tempted by this very much.
It's one of those things where I love the idea of Mechanicum, and I did enjoy the little bit that I had, but it never tickled me enough to think, let's go. I wonder if that was also because it was lots of resin at the time. Maybe that was.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the other Mechanicum and I've hardly used it.
Yeah.
It was pretty good in 1. It's not so cool in 2, but and I spent quite a lot on that. I bought a lot of 412 models for it, but it's never really been an army that I felt, I want to go and play this again. Yeah. Whereas I think getting a kind of more themey army, i.e. something with a bit of purpose that fits with sort of a wider narrative for the armies I'm playing at the moment, then I think I'll have more time for it. And plus, it actually makes a pretty good allied detachment. As well. This
will be excellent once you add a HQ.
Yeah, I actually bought a HQ from Etsy that sort of fits quite nicely. So I'm going to, I think we might do a list challenge for Dark Mechanicum, so I won't spoil the surprise.
What I need to do is get 750 points worth of Mechanicum to allow me to take it without taking the Warhound.
Right, yes, of course.
Because mine's all based around that Warhound. Anyway.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, moving on, we have the Knights Battle Group. So this is a Castigator and an Acheron. Acheron, whatever.
CH is leave Terrico alone.
These knights are £125 on their own. This box is £190 from Games Workshop. We've got it cheaper from Element Games. I'll put the Element Games price on the price. You are saving £60 if you buy this.
2 knights for £190.
Yeah, not bad, is it?
When we were the three of us were young men setting out into the world back in year 1. We'd have thought never will we see the day that you could buy 2 knights for less than £200, not unless you were giving someone a special handshake or offering up some sort of organ transplant in payment for it.
It is interesting actually.
The fact that they're not as good as they were definitely helps. But
definitely helps. Yeah, I mean that's why nobody's kind of running out and buying them. I think, but yeah, they aren't all that. It's actually weird because I was looking at the Khitan in comparison to a knight, and the Khitan is just infinitely better and about 100 points cheaper. So that's good. Okay. Cool. So anyway, they are good-looking models, and knights, those type of knights can get across the board in turn 1 and be right in your grill as I find out. Yeah. And then sometimes, not always.
Moving on, we've got some of these are pre-orders, and as I said, for some reason Google Docs has messed everything up tonight. But we've got the Devastation of Talon, the next Legions Imperialis campaign book.
Yeah.
Then the Talon, that's £31.50. The Talon army cards to go with that, £16.50.
I think I bought those army cards. I think I've actually bought them. I don't know why I bought them.
Did you think they were for the big game?
No. I knew they were for, and I want to start playing Legion Imperialis.
Yep.
I really do.
Same. And so Stuart said he'll sort us out of the game after the summer.
Yeah, I think I might do so Talon, Iron Warriors. That seems like a good time.
Then they've got Shadow Swords, Stormblades, and Storm Swords box set out. That is a single box with 2 tanks, and you can make any of those in any combination.
Nice.
So that is quite nice. It's £31.50 for the box. And you get to build the 2 optional ones you can make. I don't know if you can magnetize it. That would be cool if you could. You've then got the Lehman Russ Executioner and Demolisher Squad. Most of these releases are £31.50, by the way.
Yep.
Which has obviously Execution and Demolisher as Lehman Russes, and then Graham
pocket money prices.
Yep. Gary will be happy with this one.
I am getting now that the Imperialist, the armor is coming for the Solar Rocks. I am now thinking, okay, that little collection of Russes is doing something funny to me. It's giving me a little bit of I thought of
You get a
maybe
a little tingle.
You get a total of
tingle.
8 of them.
Yeah, no. I mean, the Imperial stuff does look well costed for what it is. I'm sure there'll be people going, "You have no idea what you're talking about," and they would be 100% correct because I haven't even read the rules yet. For this game.
Neither have I. Which
I bought a box of Bane Blades, and that's as far as I've got. Then we've got the Sakaran Arcus and Punisher Squadron, £31.50 for 4 of those.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And so again, this list is all messed up while I put something in. A pre-order for this week, the Navigator. So if you want your Expeditionary Navigator from the Legacies document for any of your armies, you can pre-order a Navigator who originally came with Blackstone Fortress.
Yeah, I was going to say
£21.50.
That was a good game, you know.
It was, but yeah.
It is. I got it in all the expansions and paid up. I've never had a chance to play it yet. So, so he's nice. Expeditionary Navigator for your armies using the Legacy rules.
Quite the fancy Dan in comparison to the old Forge World Navigator, who looked like he was about to keel over in about 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. We now have Hibu Khan, who for some reason on my thing is Hibus. Can't, but £37.50. All these next 4 characters, £37.50. They're resin, they're characters, so they're going to be a bit more expensive. It's still a bit more expensive. It's still a bit. I don't want to pay that. Quid. Yeah, but
I mean, it's like the Sakaran standard, literally writ large there, isn't it? I mean, £10 more, and you've got a Sakaran. Well, actually,
unfortunately, it is
less, isn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately, it is what it is. There's not much you can do about these. These are going to be small run models because they're resin. They're not going to sell a lot of them. They're always going to take the premium. If they're in plastic, I reckon they'd be a tenner cheaper.
A Sakaran battle tank is £52.50.
Unless you got an element.
So
£44.63 from Element. So yeah.
Look, if we start doing currency exchange, we've got to have a line somewhere.
We have. I mean, it just feels a lot, doesn't it, for one figure? You know, 40 quid.
It is. But you're only ever going to buy one of these.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's for them. It doesn't make sense to make them cheap because you don't need.
They're not going to sell.
You don't need 5 Tibalt Mars in your army. You don't.
You've got to sell. You've got to pay the wages. Resin's an expensive material to work with anyway. It's very intensive in terms of manpower. Okay. Unfortunately,
I mean, Tibalt Mars got some pretty good rules.
Yeah, so you've got you've got Hibu Khan, Little Horus Aximant, Shadrach Meduson, and Tibalt Mar, and I think these are all excellent models.
Okay. Your camera seems to have gone off, Mr. B. By the way, I don't know if that's
it has.
He's gone into.
It has. Is it not
OnlyFans mode? That's why
it has gone off, and I don't know why.
What he's doing, you have to pay £6 a month to get all this.
Not sure what happened there.
Extra content.
Extra content. Mr. B special cam.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. Right. We also have 2 battle groups for Legiones Imperialis, £110. You've got the Legiones Astartes battle group and a Solar Auxilia battle group, and this it comes with pretty much everything you need.
So that's £110 for that.
Yeah,
£31.50 for.
I have £30 worth of Games Workshop vouchers, literally inches from my face.
Yeah,
that sounds like a little bit more attractive.
Yeah, I mean,
sounds like an investment.
What you get in the Legions box? You get a Kratos tank squadron. That's 4 Kratoses. A Rhino detachment. That's 10 Rhinos. You get
about Space Marines.
2 Leviathans. You actually get 4 Leviathans, 4 Gyaradeos, 4 Rapiers, 4 Tarantulas, 2 Command Squads, 8 Tactical Squads, 2 Terminator Squads, 2 Assault Squads, a Support Squad with Plasma, a Support Squad with Missile Launchers, 4 Contemptors, 4 Outriders bases, 6 Scimitar Jet Bikes, 4 Javelins, and 4 Speeders.
Just sort of doing some rough maths here. So looking at the Solar Rocks box set. So 8 Russes are £30. So
yeah.
Oh yeah, you got
6 Dracosans are £30. So and those 2 Storm whatever blade things they are in the top corner, they're probably not. Yep. That's already £90. And then you get a load more stuff that I'm never going to paint on build because it's tiny little people and I frankly couldn't care less.
That's the only thing holding me back is that I don't really want to paint infantry.
Yeah, in the Solar Auxilia, in the Solar Auxilia, you've got your 2 Bane Blades, you've got 4 rapiers with cod launchers, 4 laser destroyer rapiers, 4 rapiers with mole mortars, 4 Cyclopses, 6 tarantulas with las cannons, 6 tarantulas with air defense missiles, 2 Legate Commander bases, 8 Solar Auxilia bases, 4 Velatari bases, 4 Solar Auxiliaries with flamers, 4 Ogrins, 4 Heavy Sentinels, a Dracosian detachment with 6 Dracosians, and 8 Lehman Russes strike squadron.
It's not bad, is it?
It's not
But
bad.
yeah, it's.
But
I guess
I'm
it's
just saying,
like-
the stuff
yeah.
that I want out of that.
Yeah, what do you actually want out of that?
Do I want all the
Okay.
the squishy
well,
humans?
exactly.
£93.50 at Element Games.
Probably not.
Don't tempt me. Frodo.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've got like £11 of store credit. And I'm like,
I bought some stuff from Element and sent some crystals your way.
Yes, I think I got them. Yeah. It's always handy. I just split between you two, just like one time LG Chris, then the next LG Graham, and
I haven't bought anything for quite some time. I just realised.
so I don't know how many.
Here we
crystals
go. That classic. Classic
how many
justification.
crystals have you got then,
When was
Chris?
the last time I spent something on myself? Well,
Do you know what?
It's been at least 3 weeks ago.
In terms of models, I don't remember the last time I bought a.
No, I can't think of anything.
I must admit, I'm really tempted by the battle group, but then again, it's like, should I just get the starter set first? And I'm like,
Trouble is, I'm going to end up like Mr. B with projects unfinished, which, of course, as we know, I try to avoid. And there are some already in my pile of shame that I fear may never cross the Rubicon into actual assemblage. So, I don't know. It is quite tempting, though. I've got to be honest with you. I might have to.
So £26.78 for a tank squadron, basically, on that from Element.
Okay.
so what's your crystals then, Chris?
We're not comparing crystal hordes. Thank you very much, Mr. B.
Fair enough. Okay, but these look cool. The other couple of releases you've got for Legions Imperialis, you've got the Lehman Russ Strike Squadron, £31.50, and the Astartes Predator Squadron, £31.50. So
It's tempting. It's just too many humans. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I'm really tempted by a tank focused Solar Auxilia.
Yeah, that's round the 3 of us is going to end up having.
I think maybe if you have a look at see what the Talon rules are, because there may be, one assumes, rules for our detachments with no humans, because there were no humans on Talon.
Well, that's out Saturday, I believe.
Just like there were no wolves on Fenris, no humans.
But I've already got a massive amount of Titans as well. So, and I've got a bunch of planes as well from Aeronautica.
I bought some Marauder bombers for Aeronautica in a fit of FOMO once. I've still got them.
They're beautiful models.
They are cool though, aren't they?
I need to get the bases for them though, because my current bases are the Aeronautica bases. Anyway, so that is moving on. So I guess we're going to talk about what we've been up to.
Let's do it. Welcome back. And next up, we have our little run through about what the 3 of us have been up to in the world of heresy. So who wants to talk about modelling first? Not the type Mr. B does on the side.
Hang on. You said I had to do the button up.
Oh, my camera's turned off again. My camera's turned off again. I don't know what's going on there.
Because I mentioned the words modelling and it automatically goes into OnlyFans mode, Mr. B.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what's going on there.
Okay.
I've done something.
But anyway, there we go. He's back. So yes, modelling and painting and what have you. So, Mr. B, why don't you talk us through what you've been up to?
I painted my Vindicator. I was really happy with that. It's an awesome model, and in the game, it's absolutely phenomenal. And I'm like, yeah.
Have you got 2 of them? Did you have 2 of them?
No, just the one. And I'm like, that's why I'm like, do I go Solar Auxilia this month? Do I go Congas deep into Solar Auxilia, or do I buy another Vindicator? I'm like,
Vindicator will never let you down, in my experience. True. And you need 3 really, just to, 3 for a pro is my motto. I mean, they're fab. I mean, as tanks go, they're awesome because they will do a job. Because they're 3 shots each, strength 9, AP1, which makes them super useful.
The thing we need to bear in mind is we're not talking about the classic Vindicator. We're talking about
laser
destroyer. Because we don't talk about the old Vindicator anymore.
Do not talk about the old Vindicator. But the laser Vindicator, fantastic model. Like I say, 3 shots, strength 9, AP1 ordnance, and twin linked as well. So even my ability to roll 2s and 1s on 3 shots is somewhat negated by the twin linkness, but they've always been great, particularly against Spartans, because you've got 36-inch range AP1, which isn't that common, and you're blowing things up on a 5 or a 6 after a penetrating hit. So
always a win.
Super useful. Super useful.
Really cool. I also painted up shield. Oh god, it's
you're live, Mr. B.
You're live, Mr. B.
It seems to have lost focus on me.
It's that soft focus mode that you have.
Is that any better? I think because I took it away. I took it away for the weekend, so it's not for the best. Okay, right. I also painted a shield captain for my custodies.
Yeah.
Use that lieutenant guy, the blade champion. And he's got 2 swords. So I'm like, one's a bit shorter, but he's got 2 swords. So I was like,
them as Meridian blades?
They'll be Meridian blades.
They absolutely should be. They are super cool.
Just the only difference is one is a bit longer. That's it. And I'm really happy with that.
It doesn't have to be prepared.
And I finally added some Sisters of Silence to my
scheme.
it's sort of like a purpley bronzy, and I was like, "Yep, okay, I'll have a squad of prosecutors and vigilators." So I'm tempted to get some of the Flamer girls as well.
Of course, you didn't add them to the custodies because they're separate army entries these days.
Oh, they're not Talons. No, they aren't.
I mean, you can take them as I played a game. Oh, maybe the guy had a primary detachment of Sisters of Battle, and then allied detachment of
custodians,
whatever they are, custodians.
You could do that, but you can't run them in the same.
But I'm really happy with these. I'm like, I need to get some. I've got a HQ somewhere, so that'll be.
I threw something on my desk and it bounced off my tea, and that is crushingly disappointing at this time in the proceedings. That's what you get for singing "I Believe in You Sexy Thing" to Mr. B.
And then I also bought a 3D printer, but that's still. It's getting sorted out. So,
okay, very good.
Yep, got a Saturn 4 Ultra, so it's a bit big, but it's will do the job.
It means nothing to me.
Literally nothing.
Okay. What did I do? Oh, I did Esoterrorist on a bike. That's not really a bike. So this was the Arch Lord Discordant 40k model. So to sort of add into my like I say, Descent into Darkness.
Again.
There's I wanted to do something looking a little bit different, and I've always liked this model, so I bought it. And I decided to paint it up as Sons of Horus. It looks all right. It's obviously about 4 times bigger than your average bike, but what the hell? I don't think it's modelling for advantage if the model's too big or bigger. But I'm sure that somebody will say, no, you get extra charge distance or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, that would be the only thing, is that you would get potentially a bit further.
Well, I don't think you would you? Because you're still measuring from the edge of the base, if you see what I mean. So it's still going to be that same distance. It's just the number of models that can get round you, I suppose, is a lot more, actually. So it's probably massively disadvantaged to have a bigger base than a smaller base.
Yeah.
But anyway, it is what it is. It's for narrative reasons, and it looks pretty cool. Of course, then I realised that you can't actually take cavalry with anything else that isn't cavalry. So initially, I planned to take this model to our event and have him on a bike and have some Reaver aggressors with jetpacks around him, so that but you cannot do it, as I found out the day before I was supposed to be.
Even when they're jetpacking, they're still separate things.
Because basically, your cavalry can only join other cavalry. Is the law. So anyway, so it was okay because I had a Master of Possession that I used instead. But good to know. But I will get some bikes at some point, I think, because I quite like the idea of them. But yeah, and then I also painted up talking about laser destroyers, 3 rapier batteries, for my Sons of Horus with laser destroyers, just because I don't want to keep taking 10-man las cannon squads. And these are a little bit not quite as, you can't return fire, for example, but they're still pretty effective at tearing through a Spartan, or even a dreadnought. You can 6 shots with 3 of them. Yeah, you can do a number on them. So yeah. Nice. So that was it. It was a bit of a slow month on the painting side, actually. I've got to be honest with you, not my normal pacey self. But yeah, 2 big models, or 2 larger models. Like so, these chairs took quite a long time to paint because it's quite detailed and lots of trim. So yeah, that was me.
Cool.
I've had to switch camera angle because my main camera is out of power, so the battery keeps switching off. So, right, cool.
Okay. Beautiful profile shot of Mr. B.
You do, yeah.
Like
you can see most of my mess. All right, okay.
In that scene somewhere are hidden 5 things.
Yeah. 5 very embarrassing things that Mr. B doesn't want you to see. Answers on a postcard.
Yeah. If you could do a screenshot and ring each one, then we'll send you a prize.
Send you a free mug or something.
Okay, fair enough.
Someone's going to do that now, aren't they? Okay.
Someone's going to try,
probably trying.
Yeah. And
hey, at least you get views on our YouTube
channel. Everything is content. Everything is content.
Everything is content.
Okay, cool. Right, what about Chris? Did you do any modelling?
What's this hobby again?
Yep.
I assumed it was just read a book and
talking about it. Yeah.
I don't know. I sometimes wonder why I'm still here, if I'm honest with you. I'm sure there's quite a number of people listening go, I don't know why is there either.
I mean, you need to get some games played.
I don't know if it's that. It's not even like I'm thinking I want to play a game.
Okay.
I'm just sort of like, I'm all right with it at the moment, just sort of not being a...
Okay. I find as I can't
not being a thing
anymore, I find it quite... It's something that I miss, being able to just go and play games. And I think if you're playing them regularly, you tend to it becomes kind of like habit forming, rather than if I played like just at events, for example, I probably wouldn't be that bothered.
I think because also we now do D&D some weeks, so it's not like I'm not seeing my friends.
Yeah,
I'm not interacting with my friends so much.
Yeah.
Whereas before when we weren't, it was like, well, it was an excuse to see my friends. Whereas now we do stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
That kind of hole, is sort of filled by that, and so I mean, I still love the game. I still, but there's no sort of burning desire in me to sort of run down to
a
table. At least not for the time being. But
gotcha. Okay, fair enough.
I think I just need a sexy project to go.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, okay. Definitely.
What about games played then?
Do you want to start, Mr. B?
I had a couple of games. I played my mate Russell over at Hartlepool Gamers. That was a very close loss, but it was fun. Got to use my knight again, and he did all right.
What army were you taking? Was it your Imperial Fist?
Imperial Fist and a knight. But he was taking his Alpha Legion, and he had some Dawnbringers as his rewards of treason.
Cool.
Which was fun because Evander Garrus basically went, nope, delete.
Did he? He's pretty handy, wasn't he?
He is very handy. He is extraordinarily handy. That weapon of his with the that Volkite weapon of his with the rad is just really good. So he did quite well. And then I had a game against you, Graham. We're using that custom mission that you wrote, and that was a close loss. It was a loss, but not terribly off.
Yeah, I think if somebody looked at the game afterwards and said who won or how badly, looks like you lost really badly there, Graham. That's exactly what it looked like, because I literally had nothing left.
Yeah.
Did you played the mission and not the man?
I played the mission. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, it was. You got kill points, and I had to get the objectives, which were quite close to your. It was very unbalanced, but it was narrative, so it was supposed to be unbalanced.
Nobody else complained about it. Just putting it out there on the first day.
That's because you moved the objectives forward.
I didn't. I left them where they were. Actually, I changed the points. I changed the points slightly after our game.
It was difficult, but it was fun. So that was fine. And again,
deliberately difficult.
Yeah, and I think the only thing was you had that illegal squad with your guy on a bike and jump packs, but I don't think it would have been made that big a difference.
Not really. I mean, he does die really quickly, and he died really quickly because he summons demons, and so people go, "I don't. There's like 400 points of stuff not on the board. Let's knack this guy quick."
I killed him with a Vindicator.
You totally did, yeah.
Yeah,
and again, it was quite good because I suppose I got to realise that actually I need to. He is pretty squishy, and if you get bringing stuff in from reserve, he's never going to do it three times in a row without dying.
Yep.
So why have 3 units basically that you're going to bring in from reserve? It's a one-shot deal and go from there. So yeah.
Did you have any other Grahams then?
Any other Grahams? Have you had any other Grahams?
Clone army Grahams. Actually, weirdly enough, it's a complete tangent.
What's new?
Well, you can look. There is a website you can look to see what games you have credits in, right? So when a game gets released, you can say, "Hey, look, this game," and I was in this game, and so people who have been in the games industry for a long time have these like thousands of games they've been in. So anyway, I thought, well, I'm just going to put a name in and see. I know that there was at least one game that I've got my credits in, and but there's this other Graham Mills who's in loads of games, and weirdly enough, he works for Creative Assembly, who are in Horsham. So there is another Graham Mills in our home county. He's a clone, I've decided, having a much better life.
Wow. Fair enough.
I'll track him down because it's
I think so. You might have to save the timeline or something. It feels like a science fiction plot.
If there's actually, this is okay. So I may have told the story on here before. I can't remember, but there is another Chris Mills also in our home county because I got a text saying I had a hospital appointment. And so I I was like, okay, that's weird. I don't normally go to this particular hospital for any appointment. So I was a bit like, okay, fine. Went to said appointment and gave my name and said, I'm here for this. I don't actually know what I'm here for, but I'm here for this appointment. Here's the text. The lady started asking me my questions about who I was and had all completely different answers to who I was. And then
you weren't going for an operation, eh?
Well, absolutely, right? And so, but then guy turned up behind me and went, "Oh, I'm Chris Mills."
Whoa,
and
spooky.
but I'd given my date of birth.
Yeah.
And that apparently checked out okay. So
what?
I said, and
no,
this is the thing.
We're clones. We're both clones.
So that must have checked out. So unless at some point the trust had got our details completely messed up, which I don't think they had done because we never had any correspondence before that. But she was okay with the date of birth and the name being the same.
We haven't had anybody come past saying all of this would disappear like tears in rain.
No, absolutely. I don't think so. No,
clearly we're replicants.
But
That's
that
the
was
only thing I can think of.
But yeah, and she told me. She told me. She told me his address because she thought I was him.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, and I was like, I could get myself out of some tricky situations with this information because it would be practically correct. So yeah. So if you're listening and you share the same name as me and you live in a village that Graham used to live in,
there you go.
Then
out of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've got there's another Michael Bottrell. Well, 2 other Michael Bottrells. One of them's a policeman in London, and the other is a Canadian football player.
Beautiful stuff. I know there are a lot of Chris Millses, but that was a very weird instance of this because
it's super weird. I mean, it's one thing to sort of know their name, but another thing for them to turn up behind you.
Yeah,
that's freaky.
Potentially have the same date of birth.
Yeah.
Weird.
Actually, you're super lucky. You sure it wasn't like the island and they're going to harvest your organs for this other Chris Mills?
They didn't seem that fussed about me hanging around after that because I went because he went I'm because I said to him I wasn't expecting this appointment and he was there and he went but I am expecting this appointment and I went well I'm going to leave you to it then and walked away.
Actually, that's a good film. I've watched that a couple times. I think that's a good film. The Island.
that got Ewan McGregor
and
Scarlett Johansson.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a good film actually.
Yeah,
classic sci-fi.
Anyway,
cool. Anyway,
clones. I look forward to our chips going off and
absolutely, and or what I say, being hunted Russian? Down by Blade Runners at some point.
Or secretly Russian sleep cell units that were just...
Could be. They're just, oh man, the possibilities are endless. Cool. Yeah. Okay, well, let's have a little chatsy then. That segues quite nicely, assuming that Chris played no games. I'm guessing he didn't. Let's talk about our event that we ran.
Oh, yeah, yes, the Eclipsing War.
Yeah. So, for some bizarre reason, Mr. B decided he wanted to do a one-day event. And because it had the Edge of Empire name on it, I felt we should make a little bit of an effort. And there were lots of people coming from all over, actually, for an event that was originally sort of billed as sort of people. We just think we'd get a few folks from the local area, but a couple of folks come from Hull.
Yeah.
As well as, so that was good.
Cold day in Hull.
Cold day in Hull, yeah. So drove up. So that was really awesome. So when we thought, okay, well, mate, we need to do a little bit more here and just run an event from the books. So we sort of went into gear and put some narrative around it, and got an idea for an ongoing set of campaigns, I think, that we might do with one-day events. But I thought it was pretty good. I mean, the key thing, I think, was this is the first time probably I've run where the missions aren't as balanced as they could be, but that's deliberate. Because I really like the idea of kind of difficult missions or difficult narrative missions, where one side may have the advantage over the other, but that's okay. That's part of the plan, if you see what I mean. And I think, particularly if and also where we focused, when normally we write a campaign or something, it's very grand. It's like all encompassing, fate of the universe stuff. And after we went to Normandy, I sort of became quite interested in sort of smaller scale, bits of battles effectively. So it was like writing a narrative that was very much smaller scale. It was about one particular thing happening in one particular area of a ongoing sort of wider conflict. And I thought it kind of made sense as well because you had all these different kind of armies and units that were descending in this one area rather than it being a part of a sort of big global campaign, just a small kind of narrative view of a engagement. And I was quite interested in that, exploring that as a concept. So we put some cool background together. I thought it was cool background anyway.
Of course, yeah.
And sort of gave everybody that. And then in the mission briefings that we did, it was like very clear to people, these missions aren't balanced. The idea was that the loyalists were kind of trying to do a surprising attack on some unguarded traitor areas. And as such, it was harder for the loyalists to win some of the missions, and it was harder for the traitors at later missions to defend. So it kind of balanced out, but the missions themselves weren't designed to be super narrative. And also still sort of riffing on our theme of asymmetric missions, which I think are okay. I mean, it would be interesting to get some feedback on those. But if you look at the book missions, you both have to achieve the same objectives. And that doesn't actually often happen in war, really. I think there's usually one side trying to do one thing and another side trying to do something else, different reasons. And so it was like trying to write missions that were asymmetric. So you may have one side getting kill points, while the other side getting objectives. Or you may have a combination of objectives and kill points and stuff like that. Yeah. So just to make things a bit more interesting so that people had different things. They weren't both trying to achieve the same objective. They were both trying to achieve their own kind of victory conditions. And I think it worked pretty well considering. So I was quite happy with that. And again, I think people enjoyed it. I'll have to kind of ask people generally how they felt about it. But it inspired me to sort of, to do some more stuff in that area. I think I quite enjoyed the idea behind it and expanding it.
I think if we can do things that are interesting within it, that's the thing.
I think so.
We've done lots of missions over the years where it's been, you and Steve have to knock each other off this thing, and it's all right, but that's what every mission is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
I think it's trying to find ways to keep the game engaging and interesting for everyone.
I mean, they weren't
down the
like
line.
massively unbalanced missions. Don't get me wrong; they're not like the the exemplary battle missions, which are very bad. Because they're almost like a recreation of a historic battle.
Yeah, they're not really
fictional historic battle.
Yeah, they're not really strictly game missions, are they? Like I say, it's telling. It's telling that story, and then trying to fit something to.
Yeah, and I think what start to do now is to think about the story and make the missions match the story, so that they're not just these random things that you do as part of a narrative that's evolving, but actually the missions themselves tell part of the story.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense. So that trying to get everything kind of linked together. So rather than just this is some stuff that's going on, and the missions don't really have anything to do with it. They're just missions that you do. I think trying to make them a bit more kind of agency.
I think we've tried to do that a few times now. We write the missions around the story rather than the story around.
Or just have the story. Have the missions and have the stories as like separate entity.
Yeah.
So, but we did that. We kept the narrative fairly lightweight. We did a briefing at the start of each mission to sort of say what was happening based on the conditions that had happened, whether you were winning or losing, and the implications of that. So yeah, I enjoyed it actually. It was a good day. It was nice to get back in the swing of things. One day is manageable, I think, even though maybe 2 missions might be more than enough with more points. But one to think about for next time. So yeah, hopefully the people who came along, and what do we have? Was it 20 odd people? I think in the end.
Yeah, 22 people. I think we had. No, 20 because people dropped out on the day. Yeah.
So but yeah, which is not bad. And again, it was big thanks to Phil actually from Durham, because he basically stayed with us all day. He had to basically lock up and open the event for us, which was very nice. So yeah,
just shake off the ring rust a bit. That was
because
we haven't done an event for I want to say 2 years.
2 years, maybe 3
like
years.
That,
2 years September.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So it was good to get back in the swing of things. And we started off doing one-day events as well, and it was quite nice to go back in that format.
Yeah.
Because it's not there's not so many things moving parts to deal with as there is for a weekend event. And you can tell a reasonably good story in that time as well. So that was cool. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, in terms of games that I played, so I was actually playing in this one. And I didn't see anybody's lists, incidentally. Mr. B wouldn't let me see them, quite rightly. So my first game, which I figured allegedly our high-tech admin system that Chris wrote is completely impartial and random. It just seemed very odd to me that my army, which consisted of demons and corrupted units, happened to have the only custodies /
So let me tell you what. Let me run this quickly past you. So I, as chief admin officer for this whole organization, I did the spreadsheet, and then I was like, well, I'll save Mr. B time, and I'll just pre-gen the list. And I just literally went through and just clicked random people in the lists.
Of course you
did.
And
put them all together. It just so happened that, and also I didn't know.
So
I didn't know. I still don't know who took what. So I was completely blind to it, and it just happened that you got
an army that was
designed to
absolutely everything in my army was like, I get this bonus, that bonus, this bonus, that bonus. Oh, have they got? Oh, well, I've got this one as well. So not unsurprisingly,
sometimes the universe provides, and
it does. You would have loved it. You'd have absolutely loved it.
Absolutely.
So what we did with this, with the missions, was we also had this idea of stratagems, which is the same as the campaigns in the 2 Beta Garmin and Cathonia books. And so what we had was everybody had 4 stratagems they could use, but they could only use them. You couldn't use the same one twice, and once you used them, they were done. And so you had to kind of make a decision you wanted to use them and when you wanted to use them. And whichever side was winning, come the final battle, only they could use strategies going forward in the last battle. So the other team had a disadvantage.
Like in the COL, that's what we did for.
Yeah, I think we
just slight variation on it, but
with COL we didn't have anything in the final battle, as you could take stuff into the final battle. But yeah, I think we have done something similar in the past. But anyway, so Henry, who had Sisters of Silence and a smallish detachment of custodians. Oh, what a pain! So he had like a shield captain with all the business, and I think a Terran Guard, which were troop choice, kind of surrounding, not a Terran Guard, whatever they were, the troop version of the Custodes.
They had spears or swords and shields. Those are your two
spears,
choices.
I think.
So yeah, Guardian squads. Yeah,
sounds reasonable. And then he had the Dreadnought, he packs a punch, and the tank, which also seemed to have no trouble tearing through my lovely tanks, much to my chagrin. And then on the Sister Silence side, he had Janita Krall, who is by
absolutely
far
monstrous,
absolute monster of a character. You know,
she very much is.
So he's the fact tanking all the strength 8 stuff on her and things like that. It's like, oh, come on.
The fact that I can't take her without taking an allied detachment is upsetting. Because super cool HQ choice, and like I say, absolute monster when she wants to be.
Yeah, they had a lot of advantages, and also he could move his deployment zone 6 inches forward, so he was basically on me turn 1, which is exactly where he wants to be with that army. I think he had Janita Krall in the Dune transport, which is an assault vehicle. So
yes, he did.
Basically up front and up close and personal turn 1. Not a huge amount I could do about it. And I just kind of got overwhelmed because they were just chopping through me like there's no tomorrow. And I didn't really have a lot in answer, to be honest with you. It was kind of all over fairly quickly. Tanks went early doors to the thingamy tank. And of course, everything's, Nemesis and what have you. So yeah, it was a fairly convincing destruction of my army by the Talons of the Emperor. Interestingly enough, my HQ choice took a load of casualties and then ran off the board, which actually thematically I thought actually that's probably about right. He'd have taken one look at that lot and gone, no, I'm not hanging about here. I'm a psycho, and
I'm not a psycho.
Yeah, I'm not going to hang around here and get chopped to bits by these flipping crazy women. So yeah, but anyway, good game. But like I said, it was over pretty quick. In the second game, I got is it Steve?
You had
with
Steve,
the Imperial,
Steve Johnson.
Steve with the Imperial Fists. So it's like, oh great, Imperial Fists, I love them. But it was an armor breakthrough, which was great to see. The only problem is he had one scoring unit, and our missions are all about getting on objectives and staying on objectives and scoring that way, as most missions are. And so one scoring unit is going to struggle, which
it's a real gambler character. Because
I mean,
it's like you say, most missions,
basically,
most missions these days, in any of the books are all take and hold objectives, as quickly as you can, and do it that way. And and two or three is kind of
the minimum these days. Now. But anyway, he was like, no, this is the theme, this is the narrative behind it, and this is why they've got why I haven't got any scoring units. I've just got tanks. So a lot of tanks, which as what was quite cool. So I suppose I should talk through my list actually, just so people know what I got. So I had, as mentioned, the Esoterrorist with a jetpack, and I had a Praevian because I needed him to take the corrupted unit types, which I'll come on to in a minute. I had 2 Castaferran dreadnoughts, so the old Chaos dreadnoughts, the ones that you put in a sock to settle arguments, metal dreadnoughts. Because they look kind of corrupted. 2 of those, so with the plasma cannons and power fists on those. I had a Reaver Aggressor Squad, which is what I put with my Esoterrorist. The idea being that he would go forward quite a way. He can then pull out that Breach the Veil psychic power, which basically gives you the warp thing, and then the demons can just jump out and move and charge and shoot if you had such a thing from that. So you can actually get your demons turn 1 if he's still alive, right in somebody's grill. And demonic beasts, or brutes rather, are pretty useful. Strength 6 on the first couple of turns. So they can do a number, particularly on tanks who've only got armor 10 at the back. So that was basically my strategy, was get those guys out and just cause havoc. Obviously, there was a lot of shooting coming back at me, but without the ability to react, of course, it becomes a little easier because you don't have to worry about them shooting the bejesus out of you. But yeah, as it turns out, once I kind of got up close and personal, my army, as always happens with armor breakthrough, if you're in melee range, then you're in trouble. And that was unfortunately what happened. I could just smash my way through the tanks.
Yep, good player as well, and good
lots of shooting, but I could weather that and then just basically soak up that damage and get in and just smash up the tanks, which I know very well from my own bitter experience of trying to run those lists, how difficult that can be.
Yes.
But yeah, so it was a fairly convincing victory in the end because I just didn't have enough scoring units, and I had about 3 or 4 at that point.
Gotcha.
So yeah, and then finally, a game against Paul Shaw, who I just realised that I've known for many years, but I never actually played a game against him. So that was good. It was against the Space Wolves. And again, that was like an all infantry list, sort of charging up the board, classic Space Wolf style, with some tooled out slayers. And he had a knight as well, so that was something to deal with, because that was, like, say, in my face turn 1. I also had, I got to mention the rest of my list. I had 2 troop choices with just nothing. They were just there to be troops. A recon squad, which was again there to have a nuncio box on them, but also to get on objectives early doors by infiltrate. And demonic brutes, which I mentioned, demonic beasts, 3 of them, which would then be summoned. And I'm trying to think what else I had. Oh yeah, heavy support, of course, Graham's favourite section. 2 Arcuses, 2 Scorpiuses, and a Decimator. So there was some. It wasn't a, it was a pretty strong list, to be fair.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, it managed to hold its own against the Space Wolves. They did come in hot and swing in, as you'd expect, but I kind of managed to weather the storm and just did enough to clinch the objectives on that one. So yeah, but 3 great games. Yeah, really enjoyed them. Certainly stuff to learn, particularly about Sisters of Silence and corrupted and demonic units, which they really do love going against. So I think Henry was the first time he's played against demons, because he's got this army designed against demons. It was the first time he could use half the skills. So that was cool.
Yeah.
So that was me.
Nice.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a good day. It was a good day.
Nice.
Cool. Okay. What about next month then? What's any plans?
Mr. B, you got some games in, or were you just doing?
I spoke about my games already.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, of course you did. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna be, for next month, I'm gonna crack on with my the Solar Auxilia, and I'm kind of thinking I might start printing some stuff for them.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough.
Because just try and get that printer. I've got a couple of STLs for, well, not a couple, an STL for a Charnodon. So I'm like, do I want to make a squad of Charnodon tanks?
Yes, you do. Because they are cool.
Okay.
I bought those, and they look really cool. So
nice. I think I'm going to be starting with my Dark Mechanicum next. So obviously I bought the box set. I've got a new Magos coming my way. Somebody gave me actually somebody at work gave me a start collecting Skitarii box.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, so I've got a load of Skitarii that I don't know what to do with.
What's in that box then? The that particular one, because there's been a few sort of like start collecting combat patrol things.
Yeah, I can't remember because I can't find the box, but it's around here somewhere. Yeah. I think it's basically a load of Skitarii. It's got
with a spider tank.
Yeah, yes, it's got a dune crawler.
Yeah, they're quite cool.
Yeah, completely useless in the world of heresy, but
I'm sure you can proxy it as something.
No, I thought the bottom bit actually would make a pretty cool base for an Arch Magos.
Oh, yeah, I suppose so. One of the things I'm quite interested in is maybe using some of the Catapron servitors. They're sort of like the tank troops, as like maybe some Myrmidons or something.
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
Oh, yeah, that's an older one. Yeah, with the Tech Priest and that's a good one.
But that's quite a big HQ. Like, I've used that one before.
Yeah.
And then, like I say, it's got a load of good. I think you need to convert them somehow, don't you, to make them usable in.
Oh, the Skitarii. Yeah. I mean, they used to sell them separately. The what
upgrade sprue.
Yeah, upgrade sprue that's allowed you to turn them into Secutarii.
Yeah.
But you could just call them Secutarii.
Okay. No idea.
Just call them Secretari.
Don't they have different weapons on them or something?
There's a Secretari squad that just have guns, so just call them Secretari.
Okay, cool.
Just say that's this particular pattern of whatever, you know.
Yeah, I'm with you. So that's cool. So Dark Mechanicum as well, and I'm gonna basically lean into the corrupted nature of things. So I'm going to take the Khitan with them as well as a Decimator. I might get another one because they're pretty good. I've always liked the Krios, so I'm going to probably strip the Krioses that I've used for my kind of light Mechanicum army and maybe use that in there as well. But yeah, it's basically going to be that box set load of Castellax. So yeah.
I've got to get myself some bits and bobs for the mechanic. As I said, I've got 750 points. I really need to.
So yeah, that'd be something nice, something different to play as well. So that's good. And again, if I want to, I can mix and match. They'd fit nicely with my corrupted Sons of Horus lists. So yeah, theme aplenty.
Beautiful. That's what we like. We like theme.
Cool. Okay, that's it. State of the Union, gentlemen.
State of the Union.
Oh, the Union.
All right, it's time for State of the Union, and we kind of cut down what we're covering to try and squeeze in, get this more punk rock, as Graham puts it. So let's go straight over to Chris, and he's got a little bit of an interesting little model there.
So, yeah, Necromunda, because in case we're across the board, we just don't pay attention
to streams.
Across the streams,
it's Necromunda, but I definitely think as a scenery piece, you could.
Yeah. But so they now do Necromunda sentry guns, which
could you use these as tarantulas?
I think you could quite comfortably use these as tarantulas. Yeah, that's definitely a
autocannons, heavy bolters.
Heavy bolters.
I think they go on for pre-order this weekend, so we'll see what they're like.
Where's the old list for the old tarantulas these days?
Yeah,
are they in the thingamy in the
legacies?
Yeah, legacies. You've got an autocannon here and a heavy bolter. It's something. I don't know how big they are, but even if they're not that big, you've definitely got a little bit of scenery there.
So tarantulas these days, they can either take maybe not. Oh yeah, so heavy bolters. So basically, you can have heavy bolters, las cannons, or the missile launcher. So yeah, you could use
autocannons,
not autocannons anymore. Yeah, but you could use those heavy bolter ones there quite comfortably, and that wouldn't cause you any problems. I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah,
nice.
Which is good. Okay. We like alternative models because tarantulas are few and far between these days.
They are, yeah. Bit of a pain.
Okay.
Bit of a pain.
Next at the bag, then, Sanguinary Guard Exemplary Battle.
Sanguinary Guard.
This is the last Exemplary Battle, isn't it? For some,
I believe they said it was the last one. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to be honest. You could have just used the standard Sanguinary Guard kit rather than using a assault squad and the command squad stuff and the weapons. But it's fine.
I suspect they did it for a reason, so that you buy the command squad stuff.
Well, yeah, obviously. But obviously, we've seen the traditional Sanguinary Guard set is going off sale and being replaced by something, and I'm going to be frank here, much worse.
I haven't actually looked.
No, I rephrase. They look all right, but they're not. They're okay.
I haven't actually had
the new 40K ones. I'll see if I can find you a link to them. They're okay. They're just not. They're not quite. There's only 3 of them. There's lots of cool bits in there, but they're just. I'll send you in WhatsApp. They're just okay. They're inferior to what came before.
These are all the torso chaps. 6-pack.
No, you got a 3-pack there. Oh no, I've just sent you a link to it. I'm going to see if I can find the one. There was a sort of what's the word I'm looking for, Chris? An upgrade pack that's coming.
Yeah.
Which might actually be all right, but yeah, for this one,
that's the link I'm on. Yeah.
Oh right, okay. So for this particular one, of the Sanguinary Guard, I've sent you the link there in WhatsApp.
Okay. Are these what are they called? what are the big lads called? Primaris
Primaris, yeah, they're Primaris Sanguinary Guard.
I'm not a big fan of the jump packs. I dislike those wings.
Where is it? Oh yeah, here's the upgrade pack. Yeah, so it's got a chainsword, a couple of power swords. You have to do some conversion work with them because some of these are Indomitus, some of these are Primaris stuff. But you got some heads there which look all right. Plenty shoulder pads, some greebles and stuff. But yeah, it's
not too
Inferno pistol. It's got things in there that you can definitely use for
what about the kind of rules wise?
Okay, yeah. Go back to
the pistol, perdition weapon, artist armor, frag grenades, crack grenades, jump pack. Weapon skill 5, falls across the board.
I love all models can take melter bombs for 25 points, so you can have 10 of them and you're getting a melter bomb for 2.5 points per model. No bad thing, I think.
I mean, that's the same as Dawnbreakers.
Well, of course it is. But then you go to the heretic side of it, and it's like 55 points per melter bomb.
So
I think they're really nice models. It's a really nice squad. But
these are
Paragon blade though. I mean, every 1 in 5 can take a Paragon blade. That's no bad thing.
So these have got 210 points.
Yeah.
They've got this identical stat line as a Dawnbreaker squad, which admittedly is an elite, but not an HQ. But they have the Dawnbreakers have got 1 leadership 8 as opposed to leadership 9.
Yeah.
Spears, the store.
These have what perdition weapons.
Yeah, perdition weapons.
Jump packs. But yeah, I mean, they're not.
They're expensive for what they are.
They are expensive, I think.
So perdition weapons, so perdition weapons have brutal 2.
Yeah. AP3 though, aren't they? Or are they AP2?
It depends on what it is. An axe of perdition is AP2, but it's unwieldy. A spear of perdition.
Yeah.
Spear of perdition, strength +1.
+1.
AP3 at initiative 5.
5, yeah.
Brutal 2.
+1, isn't it? Reach. Brutal 2 is pretty cool.
Dawnbreakers can take perdition bullet weapons as well, I think. Sergeant effectively can. I think, the perdition weapons, I guess, give them that.
You could put some serious points there because you can also give them, each of them, an Inferno pistol if you want to go and melt things' faces at 10 points a pop.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I mean, expensive unit, and you're right. I mean, they have got 2+ save, but there's no invulnerable there, so you can just fire them with those cannons.
They can be taken as a retinue that doesn't count towards your force org, which is always useful.
Right. I get some special rules. So if Sanguinius is down to 4 wounds, they get +1 attack. If it's removed as a casualty, Sanguinius is everybody, they get 2 attacks. So that seems fair. But yeah. And if anybody else is within them, they get +1. So like kind of living banners, effectively.
Which I think. It's an effect that Sanguinius used to do. I don't know if he still does it now. Actually,
got it. So there you go.
They're okay. I mean, people will be happy to see them finally get a rules.
I've seen
rules because everyone has been saying, we're the Sanguinary Guard since the first Blood Angels book came out. So, because they are an integral part of the Legion. So
it's just nice to see them because obviously before it was just you just do it with a command squad.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, cool.
What's
next?
We've got a cool Night Lord squad. They just took the command squads and someone painted them up. Who was it? Hobbyist Jim. That's it, Jim. No surname or anything. A command squad with jump packs. So these are quite cool. So he's obviously taking the assault squad.
Yeah.
He's taking the assault squad, and just bought the sprue. So it looks, it's like, again, you aren't necessarily stuck with just the ground squad. You can take that Mark 6 assault squad, and it looks pretty cool.
Did you get your copy of the Mark 6 sprue sent through for you to mess around with from Games Workshop? You didn't?
No.
No?
We don't get that. Oh, I'm gonna have to. Yeah. So yeah. So I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to grab a command squad at some point for the fists. But yeah. So this is really nice. Obviously you've got your guy with your banner there. You've got 4 guys with shields and swords. Sergeant with a power fist. Looks really quite cool. But yeah. And then at the bottom, he's converted Dominion Zephon into a Night Lord's jump Praetor, and he looks absolutely terrifying.
That is good. I did wonder what that model was. Yep. Nice.
Dominion Zephon, the Dark Angels model.
Blood Angels model.
Blood Angels, that's it, not Dark Angels.
Yeah. He is the Moritat from the Blood Angels.
Yep. There we go.
He's quite cool. Quite cool.
Cool.
Right. Okay. So what's next, Chris?
The Martian War is the next expansion book.
Looking forward to this.
For Heresy. So have some robot on robot action, which will be exciting for those that way inclined.
Yeah,
it's nice to see a photo of the 28mm scale Warlord Titan as well. Always a pleasure to see that turn up. When this Titan support campaign strategy, when this campaign strategy is declared, the player declared it may ignore the points limitation placed on models with the Titan subtype for that battle. This means that any amount of the army's points limit may be spent on Titans. Well, hell.
Well, that's going to be... So that's basically the cheapest HQ plus the cheapest 2 troops choices that money can buy.
One tech priest engine seer, a bunch of tech thralls, and then a war.
No, you just take a normal Centurion with nothing, and that's 65 points. And that the troops are still...
I don't know. This is the Martian Civil War, so it might just limit you to Mechanicum.
Yeah, true.
But we'll see. We haven't got the book yet. We don't know when it's coming out. It's obviously, hopefully, the next couple of months. And
maybe they'll send us a pre-release copy, Mr. B?
You never know. And it's got...
No, we know.
Questoris Knights, Demon Engines. Looks like it's going to have...
They're going to take the rules they've already got, I'm guessing.
But maybe this will...
because there's already rules for corrupted knights in the those assembly battles, and there's already the rules for the Questoris Knight households with extra jiggery pokery. So give you a little bit of flavour, and again, perfectly aligned with my current projects. So
maybe they'll fix some bits that are currently an issue with the Mechanicum in there.
Yeah, I doubt it, but you never know.
Never know.
I mean, what is wrong with Mechanicum? There's, the units aren't as good as they used to be, but I don't think they're completely terrible. I was kind of messing around with some lists the other day and thinking this would probably be quite good fun against Marines. But we shall see. They're certainly not as terrifying as they were. That's
no, absolutely.
No, definitely less.
So much little, because they used to have all the AP3 coming out of the wazoo.
And all the haywire. You said the flying murder bees that would just go around and just delete your Spartan for lols.
Voltrex.
And they were flying as well, so you couldn't close combat them, and they're not anymore. And the
hitting them on sixes.
Tech thralls were all fearless, so you could just have a big tar pit of them for like 30 points or something. Happy days. Not anymore. And the Ursarax was strength 5 with power fists initially. They strength 10 power fists. Joyous.
I'd like to see them in plastic. I'd like to see them in plastics.
I mean, they're kind of useless now, to be honest with you. They can take lightning claws and they can take power fists, but the lightning claws are now better than the power fists, where we used to be the other way around. But you just don't see Mechanicum armies anymore, right? Whereas in V1, you saw a fair few because they were pretty hardcore.
Mr. Preston saying he's going back to Mechanicum.
I think also it's the thing of had a lot of uptake in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And Mechanicum were one of the armies that was still largely resin.
True.
And you couldn't get around it in other ways. Whereas Solar Rocks and Militia, there was always guard options available to you if you wanted to use those. So whereas robots,
they were Yeah,
you had to use the robots, and they were going to cost you,
serious money,
prices.
Oligarch money. Yeah, definitely.
And if you're trying out a game, you don't want to throw oligarch money at it. So
£1,000 at it for whatever is what you probably needed back then.
They were a tough army to get into.
They were, but yeah. Always liked the models, and always liked the kind of vibe of the Mechanicum, and the Dark Mechanicum particularly is always, always been kind of inspired by sort of John Blanche's view of Mechanicum, which I've always really liked. Also, that was really cool. So I might try and do something in that. I've got the kind of paint scheme, which is like a dark red, but I might put some orange. He always seems to have like an orange kind of tint to stuff, doesn't he, when he's doing Mechanicum? So I might try that. Nice. But yeah. I'm looking forward to the book. It'd be great to see if we get some more diverse armies out there.
Yeah,
cool. Heraldry of Honor. What is this?
The last bunch of Solar Auxilia cohorts who are linked to particular legions. So you've got the one for the Iron Warrior. Is it the Iron? No, you've got the one for you've got Chagorus, so that's the White Scars. They're lots. You've got the Synfium. What's that one? Medusans. So that's Iron Hands. You've got the Alpha Legion squad, and they sort of suggested colors and stuff that you can use. The Night Lords lot. Therian, who's that lot? Raven Guard. Oh yeah, they've been in the books. They're quite cool. And you've got the Word Bearers. And then lots of symbols that you can use for the different. So it's quite interesting, and they're very clear. This is a work in progress, so it's not like they're saying, "Oh, you have to use these ones," but no, it's like, yeah, quite cool.
The icons are cool as well, actually.
Yeah, the icons are cool. I saw a lot of some people were complaining about the color plates they put up there, and it was like, well, how Games Workshop were falling. It's like these are, they're very clear. These are like very basic. They're just sort of showing the types of color schemes.
Yeah, I think somebody did a comparison between these and the ones that were in the book 6 or whatever it was, where the Solar Auxilia turned up. Because they were like these really nice full plate works of art. Whereas these are a little bit more. Here's a template. Put the colors on so that people can. Which I think actually this is from a painting guide is actually kind of useful because you can see the colors.
They look like the kind of things you give to kids on a Saturday holiday, colouring in sheet for design your.
I mean that's what these are. We've had these in books for decades. This kind of thing, a very basic shape, and then they've just coloured them in. So it's not.
But they used to do it in a much nicer way. You'd see where on the fabric, or not the fabrics, but you'd see battle damage, and you'd see texture, and
we've seen stuff like this all the time, even as basic as this in some of the old Space Marine books. But it's fine. I like it for a basic. Yeah, this is what they look like.
Isn't there one for the Solar Auxilia unit that knocks around with the Horuses?
Yes.
Sons of Horus.
Yeah, they're in other articles, but this is the last one. Sure. But they've done other articles. In fact, they've done 2. They've done a Chthonian, what were they called? The Chthonian Headhunters, and the have they got it on here? I don't think they've got it.
I do like the Iron Hands one. Senethian Chain Shroud. I like their colour schemes. Nice.
Yeah.
That sort of dark, really dark kind of olive grey with a sort of bronzy colour. Looks like really rather nice.
Yeah.
Cool beans. Okay. Lovely. Great stuff. Okay.
Over to me, and we've got making the most of the Mechanicum. So the obviously the games developers have sort of put out, this is what you can do with your Mechanicum army. Some very basic tactical ideas about them. I think they concentrated very much on the plastic stuff. So you've got the new plastic phalanxi. I do like the new plastic. They look much better than the old resin ones. You've got it's like they've explained the cyberphagic stuff a little bit. Along with that, that new. I'm not sure about the new tech priest. He looks kind of cool, but at the same time, he's very different. So.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on him either.
Yeah, I like the standard 40k one, but this also looks it's just different. And then you've got sort of like explaining the tech for all stuff. You've got the Laslock. They used to have a Mitralock weapon as well, but I don't think they have them in this.
I think it's a Legacies thing. There's a Mitralock version, and there's also a kind of close combat version. So you have to, where they've actually got close combat. I probably would go with that because they're just going to stick on an objective and
then a bit
run away.
Bit like Castle Exes, and then and they sort of mentioned, oh, you've got your Myrmidon destructors with your radiation engines, and why not take Entropus? But I don't.
Yeah, I'll tell you why not take Entropus, because it's rubbish.
It's just a very basic sort of here's some tactics. Why not play them?
Yeah, definitely.
So, quite cool.
Yeah, very cool.
All right, Chris, over to you.
So we have an article for Imperialis, which is, that's not the right page. There we go. Building a better city. So it's modular tables. A modular table that Warhammer World have got for Imperialis. So it's pretty cool. It's got some nice little features. I like the I'm assuming Destroy Titan and not one coming out of the ground. It's super cool.
It's nice.
It's the clean streets thing does slightly irritate me.
Okay. Yeah,
I understand why, because we live in a world where no one wants to play on uneven tables anymore.
No,
everyone wants to play on flat surfaces. So
totally.
But I just, you look at scenes of places where battles are taking place. Rarely are the streets immaculately, clean like that. That's the only thing that always sort of just.
As we can attest to, playing Hell Let Loose.
That's it. It's terrain left, right, and centre on that.
Yeah,
Stupid game. But yes, it looks cool. I'd like to see it in the flesh. I think I'd like to see some more models on it.
I think once it's got some models on it, it'll look a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see they're sticking to the classics of having spiky top buildings to poke your eye out on. That's nice.
It's always good. Yeah,
good to see.
Put through your hand.
Yeah, that's it.
Or you could also reenact the end of Hot Fuzz. If you fall over on it.
always a classic. So it's actually those.
You want to be the biggest man in town? F off down the model village. So that's great line.
Absolutely. So nice.
Yeah.
See some people playing on it if they can. That'd be good.
Cool.
Right.
Next out of the bag is some people at the studio let loose upon the Plastic Mechanicum. So some nice kind of really interesting little colour schemes there. And, as always, some of these are absolutely superbly painted, as you'd kind of expect. But there's some nice colour schemes in there, I must say. Black and brass looks really nice, actually. I hadn't thought of that one. It's a nice scheme. Some good stuff in there. Some
definitely some Alpha Legion inspired ones, Iron Warriors. So some of them have definitely looked, looked at these as what's the word I'm looking for, as allied with the Praevians.
Yeah, totally.
Some of these Praevians look very interesting, though. I haven't seen some of these before.
Gotcha. So some good stuff. I think is what we're saying here. Iron Warriors representing, which is good. And like I say, a lot of people look like they've gone with the Praevian option there.
Yeah, I suppose it makes sense for this as a because it's not a big range yet, and they want to focus on the plastics.
Yeah, it does kind of make sense. So some cool things. Definitely enough to wet your whistle for the upcoming box.
Yeah, the Iron Warriors one in the by Rob looks amazing. On the Part 2 one,
I like that Sons of Horus one. Owens, I think. That's the metallic.
Sons of Horus, yeah. Oh, Dark Mechanicum, yeah.
Is that in Part 1 or Part 2?
Verdigris copy.
Part 2, yeah, the Verdigris ones. I think they're really cool.
Yeah, looks really nice.
I have a natural aversion to Hazard Stripes, so that's never going to quite do it for me.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't understand why, but fair enough.
Fair enough.
Cool. Okay.
And the last thing for this month is Different Not Less models up in Biker. They're running a Heresy Escalation campaign starting at 500 points. So we'll leave a link to that post if you're in the area in Northeast and like to support a friendly local gaming store up here. Go take a look. I've heard good things about the store. I just not managed to get up there myself because I don't live up Newcastle anymore. But the name's a bit different, not less. I mean, it's
interesting.
Interesting.
Fair enough.
Anyway, shall we head in and talk about some new Solar Auxilia units?
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the new Solar Auxilia units that are in the
Battle for Beta
Garment book. Yes, that's the chat. Yep. Some of these are, well, opinions will be reserved until we get onto each and every single one of them. But they include the Sentinels. There's a Life Ward section, and there is a jazzy new cohort as well. So let's dive in. First off the taxi rank of Solar Auxilia units, the Life Wards section. Graham Mills, sell me on the Life Ward section.
I'll sell you on the Life Ward section. So some heavily armored units equipped with heavy void armor, which I can't remember what that is. Is that 3? Should have known that, shouldn't I? Refractor fields as well, give them a 5+ in one. Can't remember heavy void armor.
They have a 3+ armor, so
so reasonable, right? A good unit if you get your Legate Marshal and keep them alive, or keep them alive rather. Thanks to their status as chosen warriors as well, it means that they can be thrown into the mixer should a Primarch come a calling and you just want to, get old young Bob to throw down his life to make your Legate Marshal stay alive and provide all the bonuses that they do.
The whole 3 seconds before the Primarch goes, well, actually, I can choose who dies in this unit.
No, they can't. They get stuck in challenges. They've had it. They can't allocate out.
No, they can't. You're absolutely right.
So that's and that's actually another good tactic against demons. So things like demon sovereigns and the like. Nothing they can do about it. So basically, if you've got chosen warriors and somebody comes a calling with a big gribbly demon, you just go, here, eat this guy. And you're a single model and you can just do that for 6 rounds. And to quote Captain America, we can do this all day.
Absolutely.
If you can.
So so that is a definite thing. So watch out for chosen warriors if you're running big demons. But these guys actually, they are pretty tasty for Solar Auxilia. I mean, when we say tasty, they're not equivalent, which is something.
It is 50 points for 2 guys.
It's a lot, isn't it? Right, considering you can buy about 3,000, fellas for that.
Yeah, I know they've got like the skill 4 plus skill 4, but they still have that good old trusty toughness 3.
Toughness 3, right?
It's the chosen warrior though. It makes it worth it for your Legate Marshal.
They do have battle hardened, so they're toughness 4 for instant death.
But as we've often said, about any Solar Ox HQ character. If he's getting to the point where you're having to use guys like chosen warriors, things are not going to be things are bad. Because although you might chosen warrior the sergeant, the normal guy with the chainsword is still going to cut
in my summary, I basically said you don't want to get your Legate Marshal in direct combat anyway. So
you don't. I think that's why I think just a normal command squad.
Practice feels a
5+. 5+. So, but you get that with a normal command squad anyway.
Yeah.
They get the 5+ anyway, and you're right. So they might be a little more expensive for very little, insofar as you don't really want your Solar Auxiliary in close combat. They're never going to be able to out-dupe even a basic Space Marine squad, and they will die. So you want them to be shooting or overwatching and stuff like that. So
I suppose
I'm not sure. It's an interesting unit.
2 of them can take Thunderhammers, which if you're running a 2-man squad of them, but still. That's 80 points on the unit. But the brutal 2, don't forget, with Thunderhammers. So
that's true.
That's why Thunderhammers are king.
They are. And again, I guess, but the problem is that you would still be wounding a normal Dreadnought on 5s.
To be honest, I'd probably just want to kill.
But again, if a dreadnought is in these guys' line of fire, just gonna have a little lie down over on the side there, because
I mean, what you'd be better off doing is keeping the legate marshal alive against the dreadnought and effectively feeding the command squad, because they've got 3 attacks base. They're going to kill 3 things. Just keep using your stubborn or your flag of fearlessness or whatever, and just
absolutely run away from that dreadnought. Do not get anywhere near it.
Yeah.
Never go near a dreadnought.
Hard to run away from them because they aren't slow. Movement 8.
Don't get anywhere near them in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, shoot them, and keep shooting. You don't stop moving.
Realistically, you've got that command box. You don't need to get them out of a transport.
True enough. So anyway, I think the long and short is that they're interesting, but ultimately they don't really serve a purpose. I would not be adding them to my Solar Auxilia anytime soon. Yeah. To be fair, I mean, you can protect your legate marshal and your command box with other less expensive ways. And again,
£50 is 2/3 of a Carnodon. So
exactly, don't be lured into thinking, hey, these guys. Which is why we kind of say about the storm section with the axes, and people say, oh, they're fantastic, and it's like they're not really. If they're in close combat, they're as good as dead.
Yeah.
So
I think
not where they shine.
I think these guys could fall in quite easily into the trap that Solar Rock's characters, HQ models, and Mechanicum models fall into, which is they can have a lot of stuff, and you go, oh yeah, because these 2 guys, they'd be really useful with 2 plasma pistols and 2 thunder hammers, and you're suddenly looking at 90 points for 2 guys that are gonna. Oh, and I'll give one of them melter bombs. Well, that's down for 100 points, and it's just
and
I see them being point sinks.
Temptation with the legate marshal himself is to kind of try and tool him out to deal with everything, whereas in reality, just use him to boost your morale is pretty much it. By all means, give him a. I think it comes with Iron Halo. I could be wrong. Give him a what is it called? Cyber Familiar. So that he gets 3+ in one. Yeah. But other than that, he's just there to basically use his stubbornness and his leadership to stop everything else from running away.
Yeah.
I suppose one thing is he's not a tertio. They don't fit into a tertio.
No. Nope. So
they don't have close orders as well, so you can't. No. Yeah.
It'd be you running around with that guy and 2 others, which is pretty risky at the best of times.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're better off just running. If you're going to take them as normal, just base guys, and use, like I say, just shoot Chosen Warrior feed.
Yeah.
I can't see why you'd want to spend any points on them.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right, cool. Okay, what about next?
Next up, that's me, isn't it? We have the Hermes Light Sentinel. I would describe them as like mobile turrets rather than heavily armored units. They're only strength, toughness 5, 2 wounds, 4+ save. They are fast though, 10-inch movement, and they've got that skirmish subtype as well. So,
just a quick question:
go on.
Do we have to refer to them as the every Light Sentinel squadron that's going these days?
No, they've gone back to the name. They figured out nobody actually called them that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
just checking.
I mean, the van that the guy that comes round our way with it still has a Hermes shirt. So,
beautiful.
They've got shrouded 5+. So, yeah, I think they can stay hidden reasonably well, I guess.
Gives them a damage mitigation, doesn't it?
Yeah. On the offensive, they're 18 points, and you get a multi-laser that can also fire a las pistol. You can add 5 points for a grenade launcher. I guess it's an interesting option. You got an 18-inch frag round, strength 4, AP 5, 3-inch.
So you get 2 for 50 points, and then there are 18 points beyond that point.
Yep, and then it's a 3-inch blast with pinning if you take that, or you get a crack round.
Yeah, just very quickly, you get 2 for 50 points.
Yeah.
18 times 2, sort of 36.
Yeah.
That's an extortionate amount of That's Tory government levels of taxation. That is.
Yeah. But they are. I don't know. You've got. It's an 18-inch grenade launcher, but you got 10-inch moves, so it's not that bad. And I don't think you're going to need that many grenade launchers to force pinning tests. So this would sort of be my use for it.
They do. With pinning. Yes.
I don't think it's got the clearest role. The multi-laser, it's just a big light rifle, really, isn't it? You've got loads of them. The crack rounds is fine if you're going up against non-Legion armies. You're probably going to do all right against Phalanx and Demons, but they're not great. There's not that common. Leadership 7, you can't take the Vox interlocks to increase them, so they're gonna fail morale checks. I don't know. I mean, yes, you can use your you can use your fast attack slots, I get, because you're not having to field Charnodons. They're expensive.
But I think a Carnodon, I think, is going to be more useful to you.
Yes, they're just physically more expensive.
Yeah.
Because
these guys are multi-laser, strength 6, AP 6, heavy 3, 36 inches.
Honestly,
bouncing off everything.
If you want these Sentinels, I just go with the next one, the Velataris version. I don't think this is. I think this is. It's okay. I just don't think it has a role that stands out that says this is what I do. I'm going to do this better than anything else in the army, and it doesn't do that. I think it's there. It's like
I think the Velataris Sentinel was far way better.
I mean, they've only got a 4+ save as well, so it's not like they've even doing
heavy bolters would tear them to bits.
Yeah, I don't think. I think it's just.
How much are they in terms of physical money?
Oh God, how much are they?
£40 or something for 2.
I don't think are they that much?
Yeah, well the Hermes Velataris Squadron, I priced that up earlier.
It's the same. It's the same.
Same model.
£40 for 2.
Yeah,
and you're going to need a few of them to make it any useful.
What's the size of the squad they can go up to?
6 in the squad.
Yeah, you're probably going to want a full squad of 6.
I mean, I get they're cool models to a certain extent.
Pinning's quite useful though, to be fair. But again, pinning's only going to be any good. It's quite useful to stop things.
But it's only 18-inch blast.
It is. So you pin them, and then
but they've got that.
As soon as they're unpinned, yeah, I see what you mean. They can move 10, fire that 28 inches effective kind of range. Then that.
Yeah, as I said, I just think they're missing a clear cut. This is my job,
and they're pretty fragile.
Yeah,
what you say?
All right,
+5. They got toughness 5, 2 wounds, 4+ armor save. Nothing on the invulnerable side of things. Yeah, I'm alright, thanks.
All right. What about the Velataris version, Chris?
Oh, it's not a lot better, really, is it?
I think it's a bit better.
I think it is a bit better. The weapons are better.
It's not a lot better.
I mean, well, it's I mean, it has got +1 ballistic skill, so hitting on 3s, not 4s, which is a massive difference, I think.
And the armor save as well, to be fair.
Volkite caliber.
Yeah.
It's so you can put
Volkite caliber's a lot better.
A lot better. Yeah, definitely. So I think they're out of the two, they're great, but I wouldn't necessarily be running out and buying one, to be fair.
No. So 65 points gets you 2 of these.
Yeah.
So you've got the Hermes pattern light sentinel. They have a 3+ armor save, leadership 7.
Yeah.
1 Volkite caliber. But you can take them in place of storm section. You can take them in place of a single storm section in
part of a Terraco.
And that's
I'm going to be probably honest. 18 of this and 18 of these and a Tercio. 18 of these in a Terraco would be terrifying.
Tercio.
I know. I was just doing it on purpose.
Yeah. You little
rascal.
I really think 18 of these in a Tercio would be absolutely terrifying with Volkites.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'd be. I mean, if you're taking that kind of not right of war, whatever it is, where the storm sections are scoring, could be something.
So we get 4, so 6, 65, so 24 times 4 plus 65. So 161 points for a full squad of them.
Yep.
And you wanted to do how many? 18 of those guys. So
if you did 18 of those,
3 squads. That's 483 points worth of.
I think that'd be pretty bad.
That's 2 Demon Russes, but actually I think that might, that many wounds. I know with 3+ save, it's not shabby.
Well, either way, you can't take it, so you can take 6, but I think 6 is pretty good.
Yeah, agreed.
18 will be terrifying.
I mean, Elites is a section that the army is not, from memory, overly stacked in.
No, it's got basically the Storm section
and the Ogryns.
And the Ogryns. Yeah.
I'm definitely thinking of a few of these.
I wouldn't be going. I think there's better things in the army for the points, to be fair, but they are quite cool.
I think they're not that quick either. 8-inch move, but does that include the Sentinel? Does the Sentinel have a increased speed?
And isn't it cavalry?
Yeah, they're cavalry. Yeah.
Can't remember. I think they ignore difficult terrain, don't they? But they take dangerous terrain tests, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
I think if they run, they get shrouded.
And that's the.
I'm not fair with.
Could be completely wrong.
Could be. Wouldn't be the first time.
I think to me the weakness of these is the same as the biggest weakness of these is the same as the Light Sentinel, and that is the Leadership 7 without the Vox Interlock, because they are going to break.
So cavalry can't be pinned. Yep. Not slow by difficult terrain, even when charging. Cavalry models treat all difficult terrain as dangerous terrain instead. 3d6 on falling back, and you can't join anyone that isn't a cavalry unit with one.
As I found out.
As you found out.
Yeah, but as I said, they're going to break easily. They're going to lose their morale checks once they start losing models.
Yeah, that's a bit of a that is a bit of a nuisance.
But they've also got those flamers. They're not bad either, because they can swap out the Volkite Caliber for a flamer. But you need to be making squishy stuff.
So they are mechanized.
Yep.
So poisoned or fleshbane special rules must be re-rolled against models. Failed rolls to wound made of weapons with the armor bane special rule and against the unit that includes any rolls with subtype must be re-rolled. May attack with all weapons when making a shooting attack, including a reaction.
Yep.
Can fire with heavier ordnance while counting as stationary if moved. It is affected by haywire, detonation, and the battlesmith special rules.
I mean, if I'm perfectly honest, of all the new stuff added, the Velatara Squadron is the best one.
Yeah, I can see more of a use for it than I can certainly the light one, and certainly the
next one.
The next one.
Yeah. Shall we start talking about that one then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go, Graham. We've talked about it a bit in the past, but
this chunky boy. So this is the Athon heavy Sentinel Squadron. So this is a sort of toughness 6. Sorry, it's a strength 6, toughness 6, solid 5 wounds, dreadnought-esque thing. Cavalry. So we've talked about that. Heavy and mechanized, so it can't run. Has that mechanized rule. Comes equipped with, which is actually interesting because it was heavy. I don't think it can run. And cavalry get the bonus of shrouded when they run. So you kind of get screwed there. Multi-laser and special missile launcher, which fires a strength 4 AP5 large blast with assault 1, barrage and twin linked. Okay. They're not particularly effective against legionnaires. They do have advantage of being infinite. So yeah, there is that. The real draw here, which is the main gun, you can put some powerful options together, including a standard las cannon and autocannon, equip a Volkite Culverin, because why not? Heavy incinerator for a bigger flamer, or a melter lance with a surprising decent range and armor bane, making it effective in any situation. But according to Mr. B, let's be clear, it's primarily an anti-tank platform. The Volkite flamer options are better handled by the smaller Sentinels, I agree, and who have a better ballistic skill. greater mobility, and don't take out a heavy support slot, which is already a very contested slot for Solar Auxilia.
Yep.
It's where your kind of meat and potatoes, if you like, of your damage is probably going to be done.
Big things on tracks.
I did some math hammer here.
Oh, yes, you did. You can field 2.5 Venator's Sentinels for the cost of 1 Athean, while the Athean is tougher and the same number of wounds at toughness 6, a 2+ save, and it is got the same number of wounds and toughness 6 and a 2+ save. So it's kind of like a little dreadnoughty thing. Anti-tank unit is kind of questionable due to its competition, as we talked about, with a heavy support slot, and has to contend with tercios, and you only get 1 slot per army. In additionally, ballistic skill 3 with no option to reroll, which means that you're going to miss those one-shot shots pretty often and feel terrible in the process. 85 points for last cannon equipped Atheon, outclassed by alternatives like the Vanquisher Russ, of course, which 155 points.
Outclassed everything in that army.
Yeah, kayaks a weapon to give you twin linked, and a laser destroyer rapier, which again 2 shots twin linked. Ballistic skill 4 for just 60 points. So yeah, I don't really see the point of it, if I'm honest with you. I would not be getting one for any particular reason unless you were running a very undercosted points game, or they said no tanks.
The problem is with it is that they only have 1 real gun.
Yeah,
and that will miss. And if you take a squad of 3 of them, you're looking 200 points.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of survivable because dreadnoughts.
Yeah, they've toughness 6.
They're not really
5 wounds.
Unlike a
3+ armor save.
Yeah, which is
melted gun.
But
the normal power
2+ armor save. Sorry, but Dreadnought also has the ability of automatic defense to deal with AP too. Whereas a guy, a Custodes can walk up to this guy and go, I think you need to have a little sleep, mate.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like it's a cool model, but I think overall they haven't. Again, it's like they haven't given it a role.
I think this does have a role. The problem is, it's a role that it should fill.
All right,
it'd be better in fast attack or an elite rather than sport.
Definitely fast attacks. I would take this all day if it was in fast attacks, but and maybe I don't know, 15 points cheaper. But
I can see the points in it.
Okay,
I just can't see the points in it for where it sits in the Force org, and
but let's be perfectly honest. Like almost everything else in this Force org position, it's outclassed significantly and almost jokingly superior Vanquisher.
Yeah.
I mean, how much is a?
I mean, how
many points is a rapier?
60 points.
Laser destroyers.
Yeah.
So 3 of those are 180 points.
Honestly, they
will tear through stuff.
And they're in elites as well, not in here.
Yeah.
I mean, you may as well take that book and just cross out the main book. Cross out everything that isn't the Lehman Russ Vanquisher. It just does everything else in that army so much better than anything else.
We need to have that that classic meme of prove me wrong. Tell me I'm convincing otherwise. Tell me wrong. But the heavy support is it's all about the tanks in Solar Rocks
specifically,
and I just can't. Yeah, these should have been a rapier equivalent for the Solar Rock. Personally,
should have been.
Actually, the rapiers are also in the heavy support because they're the artillery tercio. So the rapiers are a heavy support as well. But you can bear in mind that in a single armored tercio, you can take a command section, and a squad of 3 times. So you don't need that many to fill that up.
Yeah.
Whereas I think for the points, 180 points for the rapier battery, it would outclass that every day of the week, I think.
Yeah.
In terms of damage done, not necessarily survivability though.
Yeah. I think in general they just again with this army, it is a case of they haven't thought through what else sorry, they haven't really considered how much more powerful. Just what's the word I'm looking for? They haven't just considered. They haven't considered that everything is just so outclassed by the Vanquisher.
Yeah.
And as I said, I think they should have put this into fast attack. We said it before.
It's just putting things in interesting, just mixing up the way the Force all works. Just because it's got a last cannon doesn't mean it has to be a heavy support choice.
I mean, dreadnoughts, which are infinitely better, are elites.
Yeah, and they can
give you some
rock around with twin-link las cannons and
twin-link las cannons. You know how powerful is Brutal 3 plus a twin-linked 2-shot melter cannon.
I mean, there are a lot more points for their bang for their buck.
Yeah,
and
they are so.
But they're a multi-role unit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, completely.
Yeah. Whereas for singular role units like this that are in an army that could use. And I feel, in a relatively modern mechanized army, you would utilize different, you would use them in different. You wouldn't just say, this is the artillery kind of guys. Yeah, they're not particularly slow. They've got a movement of 7. They're not slogging away. They're not. I just feel
I think it was an opportunity missed.
Yeah, I think. Just putting all of these Sentinels as an elites or a fast attack choice would mean they would sell a lot more, because fast attack is also a section where solar rocks are really limited. Totally. You've got the flyers, you've got
take a plane which gets shot down.
Yeah, or take a tank that's going to cost you an absolute fortune that you can hardly get anymore. Or how about having some transports?
Yeah.
Whereas I think 3 squads, these Sentinels will just fit in there, been useful.
Yeah.
And I think GWs have sold. Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess
next time I have a meeting with them, we'll be sure to point this out.
I think that's fair. I think they should listen. Okay. So what about the cohort doctrine?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. So I think this is reconnaissance pattern cohort, and basically this book is all about the Sentinels. That's what they're emphasizing here. Why. So the pros of this particular cohort, you get your Hermes Light Sentinels as troops. So only compulsory troop choices gain the line rules, so you still need some other tertios to actually hold objectives. So that's a disadvantage there, but you can take them as troops. So yeah. Velataris Assault Squadrons, which I assume they mean is the Velataris Hermes Squadron. We got a bit of a typo there. Gain the outflank ability, so that's better flexibility for you. That really is an improvement there.
From the outflank it's really easy to count.
Yeah,
because you know where they're coming, so you just go, okay, well, I'll just put everything that's got interceptor just there, thanks.
But issue with that. The tertio rules say the entire tertio must deploy together. That means you can't put your Velatara Sentinels into flanking assault unless the entire tertio is doing so. So we've got a little bit of an issue there. I don't think that's what they intended, but yeah. Then we've got the Atheon Heavy Sentinels, which instead of being squads of 3, can be squads of 5.
But you can take a hand quickly.
So
you can take the Velataris squadrons as elite choices, so they don't need to be part of tertio to do it.
Yeah,
you can
you are
change
taking them as
tertios.
Just you are put them in tertios. Yeah, you have to do that.
Is there a thingy of war for the solar rocks to give units outflank?
Like a warlord trait. No.
Yeah, whatever they're called, doctrine thing.
No, because this is a doctrine.
Okay, what am I thinking of? I don't know. Who knows?
Okay, so those Atheons are, they've got issues we've discussed. So you get 5. So if you are, I love my Sentinels, I want to play Sentinels, everything's about the Sentinels, this is great. Okay. The cons, you are limited to 1 Auxilia armor tertio and 1 artillery tertio. Now, to be fair, given how much you can put into a single tertio, it's not that big a deal.
It's not a huge...
It really isn't a big a deal. It's not really that big of an advantage. Yeah. But if you are taking this cohort, you'll probably want Atheons anyway. For some bizarre reason, if you want to use this cohort, you're wanting Sentinels. So I don't think it's a big deal. So, yes, so that's the big additions to the Solar Auxilia. The other addition is obviously the...
It doesn't really make anything better for the Solar Auxilia, to be honest with you.
And also, those Sentinels, the big boys, are £37 a piece on Games Workshop's websites.
Yeah,
I'm not spending £37 for 5 of them.
5 of them, and I had 3 squads of 5, and it's a tidy sum.
That's £185 for a squad of things that are going to die.
But I got those from the box set, so
yeah.
Okay. I mean, what do you think? Has this given any?
Do you want to? I can do it. How many words do you want me to use, Mr. B?
Many, as few as possible.
As few as possible. Garbage.
I mean, I don't mind the Bellatarus Hermes, but I think that's the only worthwhile. Just the Life Awards are again fine for the Chosen Warriors, but if you're in a position where your Legate Marshal is regularly getting into combat and Chosen Warriors, you're playing these wrong.
You're playing the game wrong.
The Sentinels are nice, but let's be perfectly honest. When those books get redone eventually, I think these are going to be changed in a big way.
It all adds flavour, which is always nice. However, that flavour is
garbage.
3 day old sweet and sour pork balls that have
left in the sun.
That have been left in the sun. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's a case of they
gnawed on by rats.
You think, maybe that half will be okay, but best not give it a chance.
It feels like they've developed these 3 Sentinel models, and someone said, "Well, we need rules for them," and then they've given it to the intern.
Do we think? Because this is obviously now the thing. Do we think they were created for Imperialis, and someone went, "Oh, we better put those in 28mm," and then
well, the small Sentinels you can't get in the Imperialis.
No, because they'd be breakable more than.
Yeah, I think the crack is they've designed these models, but they haven't. Whoever's written the Solar Auxilia rules for the bulk of the army hasn't written these rules, and they don't.
I mean, Solar Auxilia are a hard army to win with.
They are, but these just don't.
Doesn't make it easier.
They don't blend with the army. They don't. The Volataris has a role. The other 3, I just don't see the role they're supposed to fill.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you could make a different type of Solar Auxilia army, and that's as much as I could say about it. To be honest.
Yeah, it does literally come down to I don't think they've thought in their head, right? What kind of job are these going to do? I definitely see what they intended with the Atheon, but it's the slot.
Yeah, and the weapons and the whole raft of things like Blitzskill that make it pretty shonky. Okay, cool. Let's
just because obviously we have PDFs for them. Are they any different from the PDF?
We have for the Atheon, just the Atheon, not the other 2.
Just wondering if it had changed at any point. They sort of retconned it, but they haven't done so.
I don't think they did. No,
it was always trash. Robot things for an unfortunate army that needs some cool stuff.
I genuinely think that next edition,
Christ,
if there's a next edition, or if they just revise the rule books, because the Solar Auxilia, I think, they're one of those armies that needs a rule book revision. They've got a not very clear vision of what they're supposed to do.
Let me just check that publication date for Liber Imperium.
2 years ago, at least. 2 years ago. It depends whether we're on a because they just revised. What are they just revising? Lord of the Rings. That's had 6 years or something with that edition. So it depends whether this game is going to go on a 3-year revision like the normal games, or whether we're on a longer term because we're a specialist game. But it would be nice to see at least Mechanicum and Solar Aux getting slight revisions to the list.
I think Mechanicum will be different now that it's all in plastic. I think that's going to be the thing that holds.
Well, I think
we have to them back.
Let's have a look and see what the Martian Civil War does, because I think that's going to be a big I think
if I'd seen this book Beta Garm was coming out and you're pushing the Solar Rocks element of it, which is primarily what the rules section of this book is. It is the model section rather is Solar Rocks and then other characters. I don't know if I'd walk away and go, oh, actually the Black Shield's in it as well, sorry. I don't know if I go, yeah, I've spent good money here and I've definitely got my penny's worth. This is gonna make my army better and these units are cool. I could be wrong. As I said, often am. But I think if I was a Solar Rocks player, I would have gone, oh, really?
Is that it? Yeah. Makes sense.
Definitely.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. Shall we get on with the rest of the night then? So get to bed.
that was quick, wasn't it? Oh, yeah. This punk rock era. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, I know.
Home before midnight.
So that's us done for another, I would say month, but it's been a little bit longer than that since we've had a few episodes. Hopefully we're past the summer sun. We'll be back on our usual cadence of release. So
that was a Texas song, wasn't it? Summer Sun.
What cadence of release? No,
cadence of release.
Summer Sun.
Cadence of release was an All Up Power Fist B-side.
Oh, right.
Classic.
Oh, I was just thinking Summer Sun.
Confused.
It was,
Totally was, It was in there, kind of industrial, flirting with industrial metal.
Surprisingly erotic lyrics.
Surprisingly erotic. I think there was a little bit of a influence with Depeche Mode sort of crossover. That time
you didn't get a lot of it, but
the Glasgow SEC that time, and I think there was a little bit of crossover there.
Cadence of release.
Cool. Yeah, very good. I think we'd make an excellent kind of song in that kind of thing. Thinking around it. Maybe a Marilyn Manson-esque sort of thing. Maybe could be. Anyway, if you enjoyed our show, including the tangential banter and exploring many
let's
subjects.
Go with tangential. Let's have our own world.
And let's make up our own world. Then please do leave us some reviews on iTunes. Do follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube particularly. And there'll be links to all this on the show on the show notes, which you can find at our website. Just Google that. Also, give our page a like too, for no other reason than at least we know there are more than 4 people who actually like what we're doing, which is always good to hear. If you want to get in contact with us for whatever reason, so for example, you want some suggestions or something you want us to cover in the show, or more often than not,
you want me to undo one or more buttons,
or you want us to correct us on one of the many things we've got wrong, then you can do so. It all counts. You can post on a Facebook wall or send us a message to that account, or you can email us directly on info@edgeofempire.co.uk. If you really enjoyed the show and you feel that you want to contribute to the show's continued upkeep as we try and save up for that Warlord Titan, you can use the affiliate link that we have with Audible. So sign up there and you get your Horus Heresy audiobooks through them. With a month's free trial as well. So after that, it's $7.99 and a month for an audiobook. So, and all the Black Library books are there, so you can start at one end and finish at the other sometime later. Also, if you're super keen on the show, you can become a patron, and we're really grateful for all the people that have done this. And you can pop a couple of dollars in our tip jar, which again we'll be super grateful for. So if you think this show was worth the price of a coffee, why don't you send it to us using our Ko-fi link, which does work now.
Yes.
You can also help us out by going through the advert on our website to purchase your wargaming toys through Element Games. And we have Element Crystal codes, which means that if you put these things in, you get double crystals and we get normal crystals, which is lovely. So if you want to donate to your favorite podcast co-host, you can do this surreptitiously by using the code CHR211. Mine is GRA2794, and nobody really wants to know about Michael's anyway, so that's fine.
I like you didn't say whose names for the other two, which is Thank you. Ungentlemanly conduct live order, frankly.
Yeah. Chris is CHR211, obviously. And Michael's is MIC440, which is the one I tend to remember because of 440 seems somewhat apt when referring to internet pages and Michael. So yes, we also have an affiliate link with the Outpost as well. So again, another great little friendly level gaming store that is based in Sheffield. As for next month, we're going to be wrapping up the Beta Garmin book at some point, and we're going to be looking at Black Shields and the Shattered Legions, and probably doing a list challenge in one or either of those spaces for your entertainment, and see who's coming out on top there. I think a little story with the Black Shields as well. Who's going to come up with the best theme? Not because I've already written one, but just saying.
Hang on, you can't repeat. No rinse and repeat, Graham. We want fresh content, and we will be going back. And
well, maybe I'll continue that story on.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I think it's a good idea. The thing about Black Shields is a bit like the 2 Lost Legions in 40k. They kind of give you some space to do something a bit different and to write your own backstory rather than having to follow the narrative of the Horus Heresy. And again, I think Black Shields give you an opportunity to sort of give your really characterful point. How they do in terms of rules, we shall find out next month.
Absolutely.
So without further ado, let's bring this thing to a close. So have a great month, everybody. And it's a good night from me.
Take care, everybody.
Have a good night and enjoy the rest of your month.
Yeah,
cheers, folks. Speak to you next month. Bye.
Bye.